Welcome, Coach Bruce at the tea shop. Probably not some tea shop in India, but a remote tea shop at least. He's very unique in what he does, which was very surprising to me. So I'm fascinated by what he does. And that's all I know. He's just Coach Bruce. We'll talk about why he's a coach. He lives in somewhere up north in New York. One of the Carolinas.
I'm in North Carolina, Raleigh.
North Carolina.
Yeah.
Okay. Coach Bruce, North Carolina. I just saw him on Facebook. He's doing some awesome things that I can't wait to. So let's get to know you. Bruce, tell us about you. Give us the short version. Who are you? I dig the beard. And I dig the hair.
So first and foremost, thank you, Conrad, for having me on your show. As I was telling you, the name of your show, the name of your station got me hooked on.
Yeah.
Back in India, I think I spent a lot of time in the tea shop. And apparently, when I got a message from you asking me if I could be on your podcast named The Tea Shop, there was no second thoughts that I'm going to spend some time over there.
Yeah.
And since I'm the tea shop, I made sure I got my chai as well.
Nice.
Sitting down here. So about me, I come from Chennai. And to be very specific, I come from St. Thomas Mount.
Okay.
And very proud of where I come from, because everything started out there in St. Thomas Mount. We had a great set of friends who obviously we were all youth at that point in time.
Yeah.
And where we came from at that point in time, we played a lot of sport, but there was no possibility, let's say there was no possibility or any thought that, we are going to go past this level. It was about playing sports at that point in time. And we played everything. We played shuttle, we played carom board. I have a set of friends that I play with. I used to play caroms by the roadside, and played soccer, played hockey, and finally played cricket, which leads me to where I am today. I am a cricket coach, as you would have come across in my profile. Not your regular cricket coaching guy who follows a textbook, but someone who brings street cricket into the game. So that's what I pride myself on. A person who doesn't know how to give up, a person who doesn't know when enough is enough. I believe in the saying that it's not over until it's over. And I think that's one of the things that makes me unique when it comes to the field that I've chosen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. So now that Bruce has said what he does, I didn't want to say it, but he's a cricket coach in the US. How wild and wacky is that, right? How abnormal is that? That's right. That's very unusual, right?
Yes.
It's more common to run into an Anglo who's into IT or AI or whatever, right? But cricket in the US, right? And as I was thinking about this, right, I was thinking, man, if there's an American coach in India coaching baseball, wouldn't it be awesome to get you two guys together and have a conversation? There'll be some interesting stories to share. It's just as rare, right? Like if you were to find an American coaching baseball, maybe that guy exists.
Absolutely, yeah. Yep, absolutely. I totally agree with you. So it wasn't an easy road becoming a coach in the US. There was a lot of hard work that needed to be put in. A lot of let's say a sacrifice from the family as well. If my wife had to say no is no,
Yeah.
I don't think I'd have reached where I've reached thus far. So I think that she plays a vital role in me being where I am today. And then it all started when I put foot into the US in 2016. This is after I stopped playing cricket for about 6-7 years. So So cricket wasn't on my mind, and she was the one who said, you know, America's a new country, and cricket is not something that is popular here.
Yeah.
And maybe, and you love the game, so why don't you dive into it?
Yeah.
So I did dive into it. I started slowly, and then there's one person who I need to mention. Okay, his name is Rajesh. Rajesh is the head of North Carolina and the South,
Okay.
uh, where he heads the cricket division. So if he had not given me the opportunity to show what I was made of, you know, today I would not be sitting in front of you. I'm proud to say that today, one day, most of the people cricketing world in the US know who's Bruce, and the people who don't know me want to know who's Bruce. So it all goes down to that person Rajesh who gave me that breakthrough, and here I am today sitting at the tea shop, talking to Conrad.
Heck yeah. Heck yeah. Yeah, man. What a great story. Who's Rajesh and what's his role in the cricketing world?
So Rajesh is the guy who heads the cricketing down in North Carolina
Okay.
and the south, the region.
Okay, so he's like a regional board member.
Yes,
Oh,
he's the
okay.
regional head.
Head. Okay.
A very very down to earth person,
Okay.
a nice guy. Where I still remember the call. He called me and he said, "So Bruce, what are you doing this weekend?" I said, "Why?" And he said, "So the regionals are going on. So would you like to coach for any one of the teams?" And I said, "Yeah, sure. So what teams do you have?" So he said, "I have under 13 and under 11. You choose." So I said, "I'll take under 13." So he said, "If you want, you can do under 11 as well." I said, "Well, no, no, no. I'm not doing that. I'll do the under 13s." And he saw something in me, I guess. The way I handle things. I'm a very calm person when it comes to sports because I've seen it all. I've seen a lot. I've
Yeah.
I've been a hostel student in St. Bede's,
Oh, nice.
and also studied in St. Patrick's.
Okay.
So here is where I learned the games. In St. Bede's, being in the hostel, you have to play all the games. And the one thing about an Anglo Indian is he'll give his life for it. You know, it may not be something that he's going to gain out of him. But if he's playing even the smallest game at the lowest level, he'll fight he'll fight to win as if he's playing the World Cup.
Yeah.
So that was something that I brought here. When I spoke to these kids, I can still remember the first game. It was the NC Gabas. The NC Gabas was the team that I was coaching, and it was a 30-over match, and these kids got out, I think, in 18 overs for about 100-ish, yeah, 102 or 103. And I seen all these boys, they were just down, so down, and they were looking at me as well. I was going to scream at them, and I just sat on there and I was laughing with them, having fun with them, and saying, making fun of how they got out and stuff like that. And I said, okay, now let's have a game, you know. So I said, now we are going to play a game that maybe you would not have seen before. It's a 30-over game. Now I'm going to make this game a 15-over game. So we have 15 overs to get these kids out in, let's say, about 75 runs. And they all looked at my face. I said, are you guys good enough to do it? And we bowled them out. I think we bowled out the
Nice.
opposition for 65 something, and we won the match. So that was it that I brought to the table here.
Yeah.
And I made it very, very clear. I am not here to make you win.
Yeah.
The result, as much as I would like to win, I don't go into any match thinking of winning.
Sure.
What I want to do is to see these guys, once they cross the line, giving 100%.
Yep.
And what I could guarantee you is not a win, but a thriller, because my boys will never give up till the end.
Yeah.
And that's what I instill into these youngsters here.
Awesome. And yeah, I really, I really like that. I coach my daughter's team, football or soccer,
Mhm.
but it's not a pro team. The people who come to your team are motivated, right? They want to be there. They want to sign, right? So,
Mhm.
but how do you deal with people how do you motivate the kid
Uh,
what's your motivation style? Like, because somebody, even though they want to be there, they probably might not be giving it 100%. And what's your motivation style?
it- it's 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 a very good question, because my style of coaching is completely different from your regular coaches, you know, because I don't think that one size fits all. You cannot coach kids, especially at this tender age, with a format. This is how I'm going to do it. And what I've seen coaches do across, not only here but in India and various places, they tend to be a bit harsh. Yeah. It's like in the DNA, right, from the 70s, that if you want someone to learn it, you punish them, you do this, you do that,
Yeah.
and you scream, and these guys are these kids, they are tender. They are tender. They you could see it in their face. But my style of coaching is very, very different. You know, I keep talking to them. I keep talking to them. I have fun with them, and I tell them, you know I'm not here to make you a professional. I'm not here to get angry with you. I don't care if you learn the trade or you don't learn the trade. But what I do care of is, when you go up there, I want you to have faith and belief in yourself.
Yeah.
I want you to be true to who you are. You don't have to prove anything to me. You don't have to prove to anybody. I want you to be you. And if you are you, I will guarantee that you'll be one of the best people or one of the best players that this league has.
Yeah.
Because if you are here, there's a reason. You know, Even if you don't like the game, try it. Try it. And then if you don't like it, I will take you and introduce you to some other game. So I deal with these kids differently. You know, I have some kids who have a little bit of an attitude. And I get some parents
Teenagers
coming and
with
telling me,
attitude, what?
no, I get a lot of parents coming to me. No, that kid, he has an attitude.
Yeah.
You got to be careful with
Yeah.
him.
Yeah.
And but my way of handling is, I want attitude.
Yeah.
When I take these kids out on the field, I don't want them to fear anybody.
Yeah.
Once they're on the field, they're warriors.
Yeah.
They need to fight. And these are the kids with that attitude who I could actually count on. I hear coaches telling people, especially in cricket, that no, I wouldn't say sledging. Sledging would be the wrong word. But having a word or two with the batsman is not wrong. I would encourage my boys to go up and say, "Hey, what did you have for breakfast?
Yeah.
You know, are you good today? Did you get a good night's rest?" You know, Cricket or any game is a mental game as much as a physical game.
Sure.
So my way of coaching is not from outward inside. I'm from inside outside. I deal with the brain first, and then I come to the hands and legs. It's not your hand-eye coordination. First, you got to get them strong in the mind. When I talk to these kids, I'm not getting them ready to play a tournament now. I am thinking about, if this kid plays for USA,
Yeah.
there's going to be 15,000 people around him. There's going to be 13, 14 cameras. So I'm getting ready. I'm getting them ready for that. I'm getting their mind fully into this. So that's my style of coaching. And touch wood, I think the kids like it. They like the way I coach. They they tend to think that I'm very cool. Yeah, I do get loud at times, but when I have to get loud, I don't scream at them. But it's very simple. If Coach Bruce is angry, you run. It's as simple as that. I'm not screaming. 2 rounds, go, keep going. So they know, see, so they know what it is like. So that's about it. That's the way I motivate
Yeah.
these kids. This is how I teach them.
Yeah, there's so many life lessons you can take from cricket. I think having that mental capacity,
Uh-huh.
that hunger, right, to go and get stuff done. To see it through. I mean, there's so many life lessons. So a good coach, and I love that. I love the vision, right? Because that's such a great vision that people can latch on to. Because without vision, it's just like, what am I doing in the field with this bat and this ball? And like only 5 people are interested in this match. People might be watching it in hundreds, right? But when you cast that vision, right, that it's a possibility that you could represent the US. Like you have that vision, and the way when you approach it that way, it's naturally changing your coaching style, because you're not coaching these people on a Saturday morning for them to forget about it on Sunday,
Yeah, yeah.
because you're motivated. So I love that. I love that vision. Similar, when they asked me to coach football, the kids, I said, like, I want, it's not this generation, but at some generation, the school should supply the US with a player, and you have to build on that. So it motivates me to hear other people thinking big, scary things. Right? And it's not right. It's a big thing for sure. Lots of work. All these kids, do they sign up, or it's the parents signing them up?
Okay, so I normally tell the parents that it's easy to deal with the kids. It's
Yeah,
hard to deal with the parents.
yeah,
You know, yeah, because it so happens that I understand that the parents want to be involved. I have a son as well,
yeah,
and I want to be involved as well
yeah,
with when he goes for coaching or anything. But when it comes to when it comes to knowing the line of where I should not go
yeah,
over,
yeah,
I think some parents become coaches.
yeah,
Yeah. Where while the coaching is going on, they would come and
yeah,
say things and stuff like that. So I normally tell them, I do understand how you feel, but what you're doing is you're putting fear into the child, because more than after playing a shot or playing a cover drive or a pull, instead of looking where the ball is going or looking at his coach, he turns to see what his dad is going to say, right? When he's going in for a tournament, he's so worried, if I get out, what would my dad say? He's not worried about getting out. He's worried, what would my dad say if I get out? So that is something that I think that thing needs to change,
yeah,
because it's important that children have freedom, and all parents should understand that children would learn from their mistakes. That's how it
yeah,
is.
yeah,
You want them to make mistakes. Unless they make mistakes, we can correct them.
yeah,
And unless we correct them, they won't repeat it again.
yeah,
But when they make a mistake, if you're going to jump on them, yeah, I'll give you an example of, there was this, I'm not taking his name into it. So he was bowling, and he was a leggy. He bowled a leggy, and this batsman, it was he could have caught it, okay, but at that moment he didn't go for the catch. Okay, the ball went past him, and then he turned and he saw his dad, and he dived.
yeah,
He dived up the ball went as if he was trying for a catch. So that shows the amount of fear this
yeah,
child had.
yeah,
That what is my dad gonna
yeah,
do? So that's one thing that I try to talk to the parents not to do.
yeah.
Yeah.
Are they mostly most of the kids? What's the cultural mix in your teams?
We do have mostly Indians
Yeah,
and Pakistanis. You know, in NC, there are 3 or 4 uh, Brits who have come over as well. So they play cricket as well. So, and I've got 2 South African boys, and they are amazing. These guys are amazing. So we have quite a lot of people. As of now, we are as I am also working towards spreading cricket to schools out here. So let's see how it's going.
Awesome, man. Is this so? So, did you join an academy? Is this your business, or is this your full time gig? What's the deal?
Cricket is my full-time gig.
Okay.
I have a dream, and to coach the US one day.
Yeah.
That's my dream. And I do have a business as well. I have the Raleigh Cricket Academy, and I am a freelance coach for the Triangle Cricket League, which is the biggest league in North Carolina, and I am the senior coach there. So that's what I do. But it's the only thing I do.
Yeah.
Cricket is the only thing I do.
Yeah. Yeah. Awesome, man. It's great that there's no doubt when somebody asks, like, I wonder what Bruce is into. There's no doubt about it. Cricket is. I'm so glad, because that's how you get good at it, right? You focus on one thing and you do it, and invest.
I wouldn't say you focus on one thing and do it. I think that you should explore various avenues in life. You need to whatever comes your way, whatever you're good at. You know, I thought maybe I would have been a singer sometimes. I thought that I'm going to make it big as a singer. I was also a cricket commentator. I did international cricket
Oh,
commentary for
really?
Krishnamachari Srikanth.
Oh, really?
I did the DLF Cup. I did Pakistan, India, and West Indies in Malaysia.
Oh,
So
nice.
I was a cricket commentator
Yeah.
as well. Yeah. So there's a lot of things I did.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Sweet. Let's jump back. Let's jump back to India. Where did so St. Thomas Mount? I won't hold that against you. I'm joking, because I think there's this rivalry. Not rivalry. It's just like Perambo. I'm from Perambo.
Oh, okay.
So
Yeah, man. Perimbo, Mount, Palavram.
yeah.
These are the
Yeah.
three things. Perimbo and Mount
Yeah.
never got it off.
Yeah.
But fortunately for me, I had a lot of friends in Perambo as well.
Yeah.
So it it didn't. I didn't get into much fights
Yeah.
with the Perambo guys as such.
Yeah.
I had it cool with them.
Yeah.
But I've seen a couple of it
Yeah.
when we come for the dances and stuff.
Exactly. Exactly. And for those who are not familiar with Perambo and Pallavaram, Perambo is probably north, and Pallavaram is closer to the airport. And there's two big clusters of Anglos, and we would normally meet up in schools,
Uh-huh.
and then we'll say, hey, come on over, we're having a dance, and then and we'll cross over, and sometimes some guy from Pallavaram comes and looks at somebody else's girl, and and then it's extra. People are extra mad because he's not a local guy even.
I hope the things have changed though. I have no idea how is
Yeah.
it now, but in the past I think it was crazy, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
A dance couldn't go without attending in a fight, right?
You'll hear two noises: something smashing
Yeah,
and somebody screaming.
absolutely. Good
And
old
you'll know
days.
trouble. Awesome, dude. Fun times. So which school? So you told me you went to
St. Patrick's,
St. Patrick's and
Bede's.
Bede's,
Yeah.
right? Who else do you know from Mount? Like, who are some other boys?
Okay, so talking about the boys, I would like to talk about my cricket team first.
Yeah. Before
we
I
played-
forget,
Yeah.
are you familiar with Hillary Smiles and Glenn Smiles?
Hillary Smiles and Glenn Smiles.
Yeah.
Okay, he's gonna get mad at me, but I don't know Hillary Smiles. I know him as Tucker.
Okay.
Okay, so we
Okay.
Hillary and Glenn are one of my closest friends.
Oh, really?
We are a group. In fact, we still have a WhatsApp group known as Mount Boys,
Okay.
where we pull each other's legs as always.
Yeah.
So Hillary I think Hillary is closer to me than Glenn.
Okay.
Glenn moved on to Dubai,
Yeah.
and I hear and they get some recipes from him to cook. So,
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
But Hillary is an amazing
Okay.
friend.
Yeah, awesome. They are somehow related. We just said second cousins, but I don't know the actual relations. So
Okay.
I did stay in their house for a couple of times in summer holidays.
Okay, okay.
Great people. Anyway, your cricket team in Pallavaram.
So we were the Mount Road 11.
Okay.
Okay, and my best friend Fabian Fernandez He was the captain, and to be very frank, there are a lot of things that I learned from him then, which I'm using now. I'll tell you one thing. 5 o'clock, I had the mat in my house. Okay, and 5 o'clock in the morning, Fabian would come home, and we had to go to Bat Maidan to actually, we had to get there were it was one big ground,
Yeah.
and you wouldn't get placed there. It was so big, but you would get about at least 200 teams playing on a
Oof.
weekend. So you had to go there early to catch your spot. And my team, I think we were one of the best teams that ever. Two guys, three guys are no longer with us. I would like to mention the names. Wayne Tellis, Randall De Silva, and Fabian De Rose. It was sometimes when I think about cricket, I think of these guys. Because Randall and Wayne, if there was anyone who could have made the Indian team, it would have been
Oh,
one of
really?
those two guys. Because these guys never gave us a chance to bat. You know,
Yeah.
we'll go there. And I was a spinner. Okay, I bowled leg cutters and
Okay.
off spinners, and when we bowl, I'll get a couple of wickets here. My way of batting was I'm a very aggressive batsman, very aggressive person, and very aggressive coach. So it all came from there. But let's say the opponent scores 220 in 30 overs. Randall and Wayne will go on as the openers. They'll score 221 runs in 18 overs, 19 overs, and finish the match. They were that good.
Yeah.
And Fabian DeRose, the dude was like Shoaib Akhtar. He would run in. He would run. He had such a big run up. And the fun fact is, we all used to hang out together. We play in the morning. We finish the match. We come back together. There was a tea shop known as Kakas. We meet up there in the evening, have some tea. We talk stories about the match, what went wrong, what went well. But never there was a time where we pointed a finger at each other and
Yeah.
saying that because of you we lost,
Yeah.
because of you we lost. It was a team. We were absolutely a team. For example, if I had a bad day, you know, there was no one pointing a finger. We'll have fun. We'll
Yeah.
laugh.
Yeah. Sure.
You've seen how this bugger bowled today.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't know what he had last night. It was fun.
Yeah.
Pulling each other's legs.
Yeah.
So that's something that I'm bringing into the culture here. You know, I want them to be aggressive. You know, and like Shevag said in one of the I think it's Pakistan versus India. It's on Netflix. He said, "What's the use of having a good technique if it's not going to bring me runs?"
Yeah.
It's simple. I don't care how the
Yeah.
runs come. Score
Yeah.
it.
Exactly. Yeah.
So that's my way. If you can score it, go for it. I won't hold it against you. And that was something that we learned growing up. Marco Manasseh. I don't know if you heard about him.
Name sounds familiar. The
Oh
Manasseh
man,
name.
he
Yeah.
was amazing. He was absolutely amazing. He was something like the Wasim Akram for our team. This dude can bat, he can bowl, he can do whatever. And
Yeah.
he would hit the ball a mile.
Yeah.
A mile.
Yeah.
So that was the kind of team we had. But you wouldn't believe it if I told you, before cricket, I went to the districts playing football.
Oh, really?
Yeah, within Beads. We went far as the district level, and we practice cricket in the morning,
Yeah.
and we practice soccer in the evening.
Yep.
But that's how Anglo Indians are, right?
Yep.
We played whatever game came our way.
Yep.
We played it. That's
Yep.
about it. I still miss I still miss those days. And then I must mention, at the side of my house, I stayed opposite the police headquarters, the commissioner's office in Butt Road. And the side of my house is this guy, his name is Hari. So he had uh, you know, they make these boats neon sign. And so in the evening, we would put a carom board there. Okay. And then even there, it was very competitive. It was very competitive. We always try to win. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you win or lose, but I like to make it a thriller.
Sure.
So all these boys, I think they played a big role in what I'm teaching these kids now. There are certain things that I'm a level 3 trainer. I was trained by Gary Kirsten. You know,
Dude, really?
yes, I was trained by Gary Kirsten. But there are certain things that you can't learn from the book.
Yeah. Yeah,
There are certain
absolutely.
things that you learn with life.
Yep.
You learn you have to make up things on the way. So I think life has taught me many things, and all my friends played a part in it. I did my college in Wales College of Arts and Science, and there my HOD said something. I did BCom, okay, and there was something that I still use. He'll come in and he'll say, "We'll be making a lot of noise and stuff," and he'll say, "Hey, you're a BCom student. You know what is BCom? It means be calm, be calm." you know. So I tell these kids here, when they're tense, it's like, don't worry. You know what you need to be? You need to be calm. Just relax, have fun. So you learn along the way from every single person you meet.
Yeah.
So that's about it.
Yeah. How did the Gary Kirsten, for those who are not ardent cricket fans, Gary Kirsten was probably one of the, not probably, he was in the very first team that came to India when they were reinstated in world cricket.
Mhm.
Dude, South Africa is my team. And that team, especially, like Jaunty Rhodes, changed the game forever.
Yeah, yeah.
That whole team just had, like what you were talking about, right? They had that fire, right? Everybody were fighters, man. Jaunty Rhodes, that epic running into the creek, into the wickets, right?
Yeah, yeah.
That is a hunger, right? You
Yes,
cannot
yes.
coach that. That's not a textbook thing. That's
Exactly.
not in the textbook,
Exactly.
you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, yeah.
So tell me, how did the Gary Kirsten thing come along?
I think there are two ways to look at life. Okay, one is you can sit down and wait for things to happen, or you could shift your butt and make things happen.
Yeah.
I chose the second one. I don't like things getting boring. I
Yeah.
don't like you know when I have to ask myself what is happening. Why isn't nothing happening around me?
Yeah.
I am always wanting to better myself. The minute my dad always told me, who unfortunately is not alive now, but he always told me one thing. You know, you need if you want something, you got to get up and try and your level best to get it. You're not going to sit down and it's not going to
Yeah.
come to you.
Yeah.
So I think hard work. I was blessed. Or rather, I'm blessed. I have a lot of connections. Connection in the sense, see, you can meet people along the way.
Yeah.
But it shouldn't. For me, it's when I meet someone, I want to build a relationship with that person. It's not about hi, bye, man, how are you, sir? Nice meeting you. I try to build a relationship with them, and same with uh, Chris Silverwood, who's the ex former cricket coach of Sri Lanka. Yeah, I'm very close to him. I am very close to the CEO of CSK, Mr. Kasi Vishwanathan. And I regularly talk to them, find and ask them. I don't feel bad to ask them, how do I handle the situation? What needs to be done? How do I take it forward? Like that way only, I got introduced to Gary, and I started talking to Gary, and he was doing this thing, and I said, fine, I don't mind learning from you. And for the people who don't know him, other than the 1992, he is the coach that won the World Cup in 2011, and when Dhoni was the captain
Yeah.
for India.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things. Even today, I had a talk with him, with Gary. I always ask them. You know, see, it's very important to be humble. The minute you think you know everything, you know nothing. And that's one thing I want all the young Anglo Indian guys to keep in mind. Your biggest downfall would be your pride.
Yeah.
Yeah. Your biggest downfall would be your
Yep.
pride. Be humble, you know, be relaxed, never think you know everything. So when I started learning from Gary, the way he was putting things was completely different from the way I was looking at things. So looking at it from his perspective was a different angle. Looking at it from Chris Silverwood's perspective, there's a
Yeah.
different angle.
Yeah.
So I may not use everything,
Sure.
but I have it in me that I could use whenever I need to. You know, where if there's 10 runs to get from 4 overs, 3 wickets in hand, how do you handle that situation? What do you do? How do you set up a batsman? How to win games? You know, there are many coaches around, you know, and I call this era as the attitude era in USA cricket, because the youngsters who are coming through, they have no fear. They have no fear. If you watch the World Cup, Pakistan versus USA, okay, I guess I was the only one who put it in writing on Facebook that USA will beat Pakistan based on stats. I guess I was the only one because no one gave them a chance, and I told people that they were laughing at me.
Yeah, I know,
But
right?
but
Because
I put it, I put it on paper.
yeah,
It is still on Facebook, and people could see it. I gave them the reasons why I felt USA could beat Pakistan,
yeah,
and we did. And same with India. We had a very good chance of beating India. It was one excellent catch by Siraj in the deep that changed the whole thing of the match. So I think this new generation that's coming in is coming in with an attitude, and you're going to see warriors. It's a matter of time before the boys and girls. Let me mention this: the boys and girls of this era are completely different. I'm going to call it the attitude era because they have the attitude. They want to win. You know, you throw one punch, you're getting three punches back. That's the kind of youngsters that I'm coaching as of now,
yeah,
and I will not hold them back. Because
yeah,
I think you need in this world, dominating world, you need to dominate as well.
yeah,
That's the way I look at it. And when I coach them, I every match or every series or whatever I go for, I name it Project D. Okay, I look at it as a project. So what is Project D? Give me any word that starts with D.
I just coach soccer, so I'm defense,
Okay, no, just normal words: domination,
domination. Okay,
destruction.
okay,
You know.
okay.
So whatever words you get, I tell them. What do you
Yeah,
think? But I will tell you one word. I'll tell them. I'll ask them for whatever words they want. Domination, destruction, blah, whatever comes to your mind. You do all that. I want only one thing: discipline. If you are disciplined, you will definitely win. You dominate. I'm not going to stop you. I will not get angry with you for hitting a bad shot.
yeah,
Go there, express yourself.
yeah,
But I want you to be disciplined. That's the most important thing. So that is something that is working for me, and I like it. I have a game plan. I change my game plans, and that's how it's going.
love it, man, love it. So so let's go back. Are you a Palavar Mount native, or were your parents born and brought up there? Was your dad in the railways? Tell me about your family.
So my mom is from Chennai. My
Okay,
dad's from Kolkata.
okay. Oh,
So
nice.
my dad's father was in the British Army. My dad's father and mother, and my mom's father was in the Indian Army.
Okay.
Okay, so I come from a military background. So
Oh wow.
obviously they were a bit
Yeah.
strict with me,
Yeah. Yeah.
and when they found they couldn't handle me, they threw me into the hostel.
Mm.
So that's how it is. And my grandfather, after finishing with the military, he got a job in the Air Force. That's my father's father. So he was the radio officer in for Air India, and
Oh
he
wow.
lived he lived in a place between Palavaram and St. Thomas Mount in the airport, which was known as Hartanga.
Oh really?
Yeah, that is no longer there. So my surname Nicholas dates back to a long, long, long time ago. There's a bit of history behind our name, but that's another day to talk about.
Sure.
So,
Sure.
but what we are
Yeah.
warriors, and our Nicholas will always find a way.
I love it.
So that's one thing that I teach my son,
Yeah.
and I teach the boys and girls that I coach,
Yeah.
that we have to find a way to win. That's about
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. So what about I I was also good at sports. I wasn't like going to be pro,
Uh-huh.
but I played every sport I could get my hands or legs on,
Okay.
right? And I thought I was pretty good. You know, in my circle of friends, I was pretty good. They'll send me in at third to go bat, right?
Nice.
Until I met a pro, a natural born athlete, a
Uh-huh.
killer, right?
Okay.
The guy is built like me, but he's much stronger.
Uh-huh.
These people are beasts, right? Like there are people who are good, but then there are natural born athletes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm not sure if you know his name, but he's Gary, and he was from forget his last name, but
Gary
he was
McLean?
no, but he was actually going to play. He was actually going to on track to represent India in hockey.
Oh, in hockey. No, then I wouldn't.
But dude, he that was my first experience with a person at that level, because he would throw the ball twice as hard, he would hit the ball twice as hard, right? The difference between a good person and an athlete at the pro level
Uh-huh.
is miles and miles, man. That's when I realized, like, oh, that's the level. I'm not there. I'm just like three of my friends, like I'm like the king. Yeah, okay, I'm good.
No, you
I'll
could
go
have got there too, buddy. I'll give you an example of that.
Yeah.
When you were born, you were not born walking, right?
Yeah.
And then you tried to walk, you fell.
Yeah.
Again, you tried, you fell. You didn't give up, right? The only difference between professionals and the normal guys who
Yeah.
played for leisure
Yeah.
is that they spend more time practicing.
Sure.
It's just that.
Sure. Yeah.
Another good example is Sachin and Vinod Kambli. You know, it the story goes that Vinod Kambli was much more talented than Sachin. Yeah, but Sachin's got the numbers to show what he is. A lot of hard work, a lot
Yeah.
of dedication, a lot of discipline.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so that's about it.
Yeah. I guess the strength will come, and it's also technique, you know.
Uh-huh.
But obviously, he was being coached as well, you know. So he had a pro coach, and he was on track. So I mean, like the pros are just built different. They put in the effort. So, what do you think? I know you're not in India anymore, but like the pro athletes, right? The Anglos in pro sports are thinning out for sure. You know, what do you think? Is that we just have different aspirations, or are you still connected with Anglos interested in sports in India, or do you have a pulse or reading on that?
Uh, let's put it this way. I think most Anglo Indians are born athletes.
Yeah.
Most of them are. I think we are a completely different. I don't know how do I say it, different breed or whatever. I don't know how to put it. But what happens is along the way we tend to give up. We tend to lose focus. Yeah. We tend to go the wrong way. and towards the latter part in life, it's more of I could have been, I should have been.
Yeah.
Yeah. If the youngsters really, I know in our time, in our time there was no way we could
Yeah.
go past a certain level.
Yeah.
There was no way at all. But if you look at now, it's vast. If you're talented, you can push yourself to be whoever you want to be.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not so connected with many youngsters now who are into sports. But I would love to see Anglo-Indians getting into sport. I think one thing about an Anglo-Indian is you can guarantee 100%. No, he's not going to give you 99%. He cannot give you 99%. He will give you 100% because that's how we are. That's the kind of people we are. If we are called to play a sport, we'll give 100%. Yeah.
The last, I'm not sure if there's any, because I've been out of touch as well. I've stopped cricket, dude. I would watch a lot of cricket. It was my sport, and football. As far as I know, Roger Binney was the last Anglo that was a steady, regular player for India. Is there an Anglo now that at that level representing?
Okay, since you said Roger Binney is still the only Anglo-Indian who's representing India,
Yeah.
and he is now the head of BCCI.
Oh, really?
So
Yeah.
so I think he's still doing that.
Yeah.
Stuart Binney came in.
Yeah.
Stuart Binney came in, and he was there for some time. I think David Johnson. There was one David Johnson
Oh, really?
who came in, but
Where's he from?
I think he's from Bangalore.
Okay.
He came in and he went out pretty quickly. Other than that, who do I see? I don't think I found anyone else. In fact, I'm trying to connect with Roger now.
Oh, really?
With Roger Binney, I'm trying to
Yeah.
get in contact with him to see how we could. I actually am serious about starting maybe a small camp when I go back to India for 4 or 5 days for any of the boys who are interested.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, regardless whether you're an Anglo-Indian
Sure.
or
Yeah.
whoever you are, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But I think youngsters should be
Yeah.
given some kind of coaching for
Yeah.
free, where
Yeah.
you know they could go take it to the next step.
Yeah.
Because I think it is us who need to come up with
And
plans
absolutely.
and get the next generation ready.
Yeah.
They should look up at us and say, you know what, I want to be something like him.
Yeah.
I want to help people as well. I want, if I
Yeah.
could reach there,
Yeah.
because when I was young, I was a little rascal.
Yeah.
So if I could be where I am today, I
Yeah.
think many of the youngsters now,
Yeah.
who are now more level-headed than how we would have been when we were young.
Yeah.
Then I think, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I think for Anglos or we just, not many of us, the majority of us weren't well to do,
Yeah.
So I think even like if somebody had to just, like, I've never seen cricket pads my entire life, right? Did not know what they feel like, right? Right. But imagine if somebody had to like put them on like a young kid who's slightly interested now, just put them on. Oh, these are gloves, man. I feel now I have that vision, right?
Yeah,
Suddenly I see myself as a pro, and I'm
Absolutely.
driven.
Absolutely. When you said that only, I think I need to say it, because I even borrowed my friend's box to use.
Yeah.
I didn't have one, and I can still
Yeah.
remember it was 10 rupees for the ball that we
Yeah.
have to give, and I would need to go and stand in front of my dad,
Yeah.
answer 100 questions,
Yeah.
and then finally he'll say, "So you're going to be the next Sachin Tendulkar? Sir, did you finish your homework? What bloody cricket? Cricket's not going to bloody feed you, man. Huh? What's it going to?" I wish he was alive.
Yeah.
It's feeding me.
Yeah.
So, but see, frankly speaking, I think we should be able to guide
Yeah.
the next generation.
Yeah.
Because I wouldn't forget, it'll be wrong. I learned how to catch in the slips, okay, which I've seen here, that many people don't know where to look at when you're standing in the slips. I learned it from Calvin De Silva, who's in Australia now. He taught me where to look at when you're standing in the slips. Then there was another guy, Pressy. Pressy, he's in, I think he's in Dubai. You know, he was the one who will give us a lot of tips when we are batting, when we are bowling, when we are fielding. A lot of tactical things he would teach us. So they were our seniors.
Yeah.
They passed
Yeah.
on a lot of knowledge to us.
Yeah.
And I think it's somewhere down the line we are not doing the same.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think we need to take that step and work towards giving back to our community as well.
Yeah. Yeah, it's great that you want to take it to schools, because I think that's where you can get them.
Uh-huh.
Even in the schools that we went to, cricket was just a sport you just played by yourself. It wasn't
Yeah,
an
yeah.
organized thing, So I think that's the way, dude. If you taking it to the schools, getting the kids, like what's this new thing they want to try it, and so that's great. Also, I know you said something about your wife, and and it struck me that, so I definitely want to talk about it. That your wife encouraged you.
Uh-huh.
So that's a good woman, right?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I,
Is
I think
tell,
I think I think she see. Let's say behind every successful man
yeah,
there is a woman, and I'm still not that successful. But wherever I am today is because of my wife.
yeah. Tell
Because
me, tell
I
me about her.
think
What's her name? Where did you meet?
her name is Sindhu, and we were good friends. She studied in the school that my mom taught
Nice. Okay.
in St. Thomas Mount, and that's how we became friends. And as years rolled by, we thought about marriage. We spoke to our parents, and that's about it.
Yeah.
Everything else is history.
And when did you guys move to the U.S. and was North Carolina your first
Yes,
place?
North Carolina was the first place that we came to,
Yeah.
and I think I wouldn't want to go anywhere else
Yeah.
because I did go to Canada for about 8 months,
Yeah.
but I think North Carolina spoiled me
Yeah.
because here you get snow for one day, it remains for the next 2 days,
Yeah.
and then we don't see it again for the next 2 years. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
so
Yeah.
that is something that I like. I like also that in summer it's about 38, 40 degrees here.
Yep.
I like the heat. It's like Chennai.
Yep.
And the most important thing is I have a lot of Tamil speaking guys here.
Oh, really?
A lot of Tamil speaking guys, and I love speaking in Tamil to these guys.
Is it good
So
Indian
it's fun.
restaurants there?
Huh?
Good. Are there good South Indian restaurants there?
Oh yeah, we have Anjapur here, and there
Oh,
we have
dude, really?
we have
Nice.
Mirchi here. Okay, and there's a lot of South Indian restaurants that we have here, and most of the guys who work in the restaurants also are my friends.
Oh,
So
really?
so
Nice.
it
Yeah,
becomes
yeah.
better for us when we go there.
Awesome, man. So but what were you doing when you first came to North Carolina? Were you working on something else, or did you just fall into cricket?
No, I just see my wife came here came here on a H1B.
Okay.
So when I came here, in the beginning, I was just relaxing out and seeing what I could do. And the next thing, my wife gave me the idea.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah,
So it was cricket. That was the first
yeah,
gig.
yeah, yeah.
Nice.
See, it's the land
Yeah.
that makes dreams come true, and I think
Absolutely.
that for me, it really worked out in that way.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Who's the coach for the US team, and what's your like? Is it a what? Is it like? What's the? Is it a big investment, and is it like a big body, or they're still figuring? It's in the early stages, right? So the national cricket team, and is it
I
easy to get in there as a coach?
see. There's nothing in life. Nothing comes easy.
Yeah.
That is
Sure.
something that we should acknowledge.
Yeah.
Whatever comes easy is not valued.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know. So if I have the aspirations of
Yeah.
being the coach of USA one day, which I
Yeah.
do,
Yeah.
it's a lot of hard work. It's a lot about dedication, and I think I would be one day.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed, I would be there one day. Who's the coach now? As of now, we are in transition. Stuart Law was the coach. Now I think we are looking for another coach, and our US team is in in Oman as of now. We just beat Namibia, so our next match is on the 12th. So I keep watching all these matches, and
Yeah.
they're doing pretty well.
Yeah. I'm guessing you just have to keep taking it match by match, right? Putting in the effort, showing some, getting some data, and just putting it and then building your proof, right? People might say Bruce is a great guy, but then show me the proof and
Yeah,
just
yeah, yeah, absolutely. See,
that's how you chip away.
it's about numbers.
Yeah,
It's a number game, It's about what is the percentage, what do you bring to the team?
yeah.
As a coach, what are the values you bring to this team? So I think my win ratio is very high now. So
Yeah.
I think I'm on the right path. I God has blessed me with
Yeah.
the ability of reading the game maybe one
Yeah.
second before
Yeah.
something happens.
Yeah.
I get it's the gut feel I have so far. I know who to bring on when. I sometimes feel that this guy is going to play it in this place where I can keep a fielder there. So these are things that I don't know how I learned, but somewhere along the way I've learned it. So I think that's helping me. So my percentage is pretty high.
How 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 would you explain cricket to a Caucasian in like a minute? Have you ever tried?
Yeah, it's very easy.
Yeah.
Before baseball,
Yeah.
even you wouldn't believe that the first international cricket match that was played ever was between Canada and USA.
No. What? Really?
The first ever match was played between USA and Canada, but it was a very long match. It was 5 days or
Yeah. Yeah.
something.
Yeah. Yeah.
And as you know, in America, it's a fast life.
Yeah.
Things move on very fast.
Yeah.
So obviously they moved away, and
Yeah.
then baseball came in and stuff like that. But now what's happening is we have the T20s,
Yeah.
and we're moving to the T10s.
Yeah.
So if you're getting 5 home runs in a baseball match,
Yeah.
I'll show you 10 sixes
Yeah.
in a T20.
Yeah.
So if you want to watch some real fast
Yeah.
games,
Yeah.
watch cricket.
Yeah. Yeah. That's why I have a couple of people my age, and they have kids, and they're not into sports, but the kid is into sports, and suddenly they find themselves going into like watching baseball. I'll tell them like, so they ask me about cricket. I'll tell them like, imagine how you feel when they hit a home run. Yeah, that can happen 300 times a match.
Yeah, exactly.
But so um, so you have a kid, you have a boy. Does he play cricket? How old is your son?
My son is 11 years old,
Okay.
okay, and he does play cricket,
Yeah.
but apparently,
Yeah.
he doesn't like anything that comes free. So he wants daddy to pay for him and send him for baseball classes.
Okay.
But then again, it's his choice.
Yeah. Sure.
I told him the
Yeah.
minute you're ready to play cricket,
Yeah.
he does know how to play. He
Yeah.
does know how to play. He's
Yeah.
got good hand-eye coordination and stuff
Yeah.
like that. But it's his choice.
Absolutely.
You never force anyone to
Yeah.
do anything.
Yeah.
Where if he wants to do it, let him do it. Whatever. If he wants to play baseball, he could play baseball.
Yeah.
Whatever, soccer, whatever he wants
Yeah.
to play.
All right, dude. At this time, I'm trying to ask people. There are a couple of things, right? To be an Anglo, not to be an Anglo. Most Anglos, if you ask them like, "What did you do as a kid?" Right, especially boys, we can probably list 1,000 things, right? So I just boiled it down to 4, and that I found that are very common to Anglos. Did you fly kites in Palavaram?
No, I didn't fly in Palavaram,
Okay.
but I was one of the 3 top kite flyers in Mount.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I've
There
been
was another
speaking to
guy,
the
Hari.
kite champions, man.
There was Hari, Stanley, and then myself. 3 of us.
Yeah.
I come from Kariakoil. So whenever I put manja,
Yeah.
they would come and ask me for the remaining.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's the recipe if you can share? I think it's safe to share now. What was the secret?
I use something known as Mandel solution.
What's that?
Okay, it's a chemical.
Okay.
It's a chemical that I use in my manja.
Yeah.
So when the sun is out, it would actually give heat, and that used to actually cause a lot of people to lose the kites.
Dude, I spoke to so many kite experts. I spoke to this guy Lyndon Baldry,
Uh-huh.
and he used to go to the cemetery
Uh,
and take a broken cross and grind Coke bottles on a grave because it was marble, and it would get the smoothest glass piece.
then glass piece also was a part of it,
Yeah,
but there was another trick to it. Okay, sometimes I used to use just water,
yeah.
plain water. Okay, I'll just throw the ball of thread into the water, and I'll send it up. So what happens? It takes away the manja from the opposite guys. So that was one trick that I used.
Interesting. I
But
never heard of that. That's
yes,
yeah,
so I loved kite flying.
yeah.
I always had I always had about three firkis in my house. My mother told me after I got married, she threw out three big bottles of glass powder that I
Oh,
had on top.
dang! You had a
Yeah.
stash.
And yeah, I had a lot, and about a minimum of five, what do they call that? Bombay kites, Bombay Katadis,
Yeah,
as we
yeah,
call it.
yeah.
And then the big one, no, the
One
Bana
sheet,
Katadis.
bana. Yeah,
Banas, I had about four,
yeah.
five banas and five small kites there. I loved
Oh,
kite flying.
yeah, awesome. Me too, man. I love kite flying. Yeah, I got so because I haven't spoken about kites. When Lyndon started talking about kites, man, we talked about kites. So about the first cut that you get on your hand,
Oh
and then
shit, that
but
was the
yeah,
worst,
yeah,
man.
yeah,
That was the worst. My finger used to be horrible because
yeah,
the chemical that I use,
yeah.
okay, it uh, it doesn't heal fast.
Oh,
It
yeah,
doesn't heal. So the next time when I fly again, I
yeah,
get a cut in that cut.
yeah, yeah,
So that's the worst part of
yeah.
it.
Awesome, awesome. Uh, I'm not sure, but this is slowly waning off as the generations go. Like marbles and top.
I did play marbles. I did play top. I'll ask you one question.
What's that?
Did you play gilli dand?
I did. Yes.
Because many people have forgotten that there was a game
Yeah.
by the name gilli dand as well.
Yeah. And then a game that has no name. It's just a tire and a stick.
Oh yes, the tire and stick, that was one. Then I don't know if you remember or whether you played the cigarette packet game. You know,
Oh dang, tell me about that.
I forget the name. They will make it and you throw a stone and you try to take it out of that circle stuff.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
Conrad, you name the game.
Yeah.
You name the game. I've played it all. I've played exactly every single thing. If there was a game,
Yeah.
I played it.
Yeah.
I come from I'm proud to say that I come from Kariakoil,
Yeah.
okay, and I would tell you that those guys would give their life for you.
Absolutely.
They
Yeah.
would give their life for you,
Yeah.
and there are so many lessons that you learn from these kids
Yeah.
who wouldn't even have food for themselves.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you, it was in when was that? When did we have that heavy rains and those
Oh
waterlogging
no.
everywhere and
Mm-mm.
stuff like that? I forget which
Yeah.
year it was.
Yeah.
Okay, I was married then, okay? And I think 2013 or 14, it was 2014, yeah. And I was stranded by Kasi Theatre, okay? Not one ATM was open. Not one ATM was open. And it wasn't working when it was open. And I wasn't carrying any cash. And there was this auto things that was going from from Kasi Theatre to Vadapalni. So I thought I was in Porur then. So I said, if I go to Vadapalni, I can walk to Porur. But I didn't have money. I met an auto guy. His name is Raj. And he's from that place which I told you. And I asked him, he asked me, what you doing here? He asked me, "Enna macha, enna padra inga?" Said, I'm stuck, man. I got to go. And he said, you see the auto there? My brother-in-law and myself, okay? He's asking for 25 rupees per head. He had about 80 rupees in his hand. without even thinking twice, he gave me 50 rupees.
Hmm.
Not thinking how he's going to go, what's going to happen. He said, Nipo macha na padagra. And he did go. He gave me that 50 rupees and he went. And after that, when I went to give him the money back,
Yeah.
you know what he told me? He said, "Na, avladhan friendship. You think that's all my friendship is? You're
Wow.
coming to give
Ouch.
me back
Yeah.
the money? No, I don't
Yeah.
want the money, man." So I think I'm blessed to have these kind of friends.
Yeah.
I have friends who would give their life for me. Yeah.
Yeah. Man. Wow. To give from nothing
Yeah,
is
yeah,
the
absolutely.
yeah. So is there a boxer in your family?
A boxer. My grandfather was a boxer for the airlines.
Oh, really?
Yeah, my grandfather was a boxer for the
Yeah.
airlines. So yeah, there's a boxer in my
Yeah.
family.
Because that is also a dying thing. It used to be a thing. If you go back generations, there were more boxers in the family,
Yeah,
and now this generation there's no box. Because Anglos were whole hockey teams would be Anglos, and they'd
yeah,
be
yeah.
boxers. Did you ever have a space to rear pigeons or any
No,
birds?
no,
No.
I didn't. I did have a parrot.
Yeah.
I had a lot of dogs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a lot of dogs, and I had a squirrel. A
Yeah.
squirrel named Squeaky.
That's awesome, man. So how do you go about? We'll wrap this up. How do you go about? Oh, no, before I do that, you were talking about data, right? It's how you when you were talking about the U.S. and the Pakistan team, and
Uh-huh.
and you just had data behind. Have you ever seen the movie Moneyball?
No, man.
Y-
Movies. Okay.
Yeah,
The fun fact is, I also learned how to direct a movie.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
but I don't watch
yeah,
movies.
yeah,
The only thing I watch is cricket.
yeah,
There's nothing else that I watch.
yeah,
If my wife puts something, I sit on and watch. That's about
yeah,
it. Other than that, it's just
yeah.
cricket.
Yeah, but the plot for Moneyball is right. The guy's trying to build a team, but he has a limited budget, and this is a true story. So for baseball, they just go buy the most expensive players, right? Who's on fire,
Hmm.
who's in
Hmm.
form, right? But
Hmm.
they took a data approach, and this guy said, "Look at the data. This guy is like a fraction of the cost, but he always does these things. He always moves. I don't know baseball, but he gets on base or whatever, right?" And they built a team based on data. Pretty much, these guys would not be hired in any team at all,
Yeah,
right? But built on data, and they ended up like winning some big competition, winning that thing. And the coach got offered like $23 million to coach the Red Sox after that because he was so successful
Conrad,
in, yeah,
numbers don't lie.
yeah,
Numbers don't
exactly,
lie.
yeah,
And I would like to watch that movie. I think I would have watched it, but I feel as though I watched it, but it maybe a long time
yeah,
ago. But numbers definitely don't lie.
yeah,
And I think data is something that is very, very important. If
yeah,
you look at numbers, it's very simple. The
yeah,
last three matches, if you take, you see how they've done, what bowling they play,
yeah,
they got out against and stuff.
yeah,
Once you do your calculations,
yeah,
it's easy to figure it out.
yeah. Cool, man. So tell me your top five bowlers and top five batsmen.
Top five batsmen would be Sachin Tendulkar at the very top
Yeah,
because I did a song on him. I'm a diehard fan of him.
yeah,
I did the Sachin anthem, which is still a quality tune in India. My second batsman would be Virat Kohli. The third batsman would be Steven Smith. My fourth batsman would be Joe Root. And the fifth batsman would be MS Dhoni.
cool, cool, cool. Um, for top five bowlers, it can be fast spin, doesn't
Yeah.
matter.
Okay. McGrath up
Heck
the
yeah,
list.
yeah,
Then I've heard a lot and I've seen only the highlights of Michael Holding. So I think I'll
yeah,
go with Michael Holding. I think now Boomer's up there. Three. I think Patrick Patterson. I think not Patrick, not Patterson, Pat Cummins.
yeah,
I think he's good. And if you're looking at a spinner, as of now, I think although he is He is just retired. I think no one has a better brain than Ravichandran Ashwin. So I think these five would be.
So you did not get to watch a whole lot of Michael Holding. You guess you were too young.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
dude.
didn't watch much about of him, but I did see a lot of
Yeah,
highlights of him.
dude. I'm telling you, the most underrated bowler. Nobody talks about him. Curtly Ambrose,
Yeah.
economical bowler.
Yep.
Right. Again, nothing special, but people just don't score of him. He might
Yep.
not. I think he has some phenomenal, like 9 wickets, whatever. But people don't talk about him because he's not flashy. But if you look at his numbers, the dude is phenomenal.
So I don't know whether you know the story of him and Dean Jones. So, okay, the story goes like this: that he, this guy Ambrose had a guard on his hand, okay, a wristband or whatever,
Yeah.
and Jones, when he was batting, stopped him in his run up and said, "I want him to remove it because it's distracting." It was the biggest mistake that Jones did because he couldn't touch the bowling after that.
Yeah.
He was literally.
Yeah.
He even went on record to say that's my biggest mistake because he was
Oh,
bouncing
really?
him like
Yeah.
no man, he couldn't touch it. So I do know a bit of Curtly
Yeah.
Ambrose. In fact, I think I have the opportunity. No, not yet. I haven't met him,
Yeah.
but I work along in wherever I'm working now as a
Yeah.
freelance guy with Coach Philip Service, a very good gentleman. You know, he's a good coach as well, and he has connections with Ambrose and things. So I'm hoping to make a trip to Jamaica. So when I
Nice.
make a trip to Jamaica, he said he will introduce me to these guys.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I grew up. I think for me, like Curtly Ambrose, Wakar Yunus, the swing right from ball one, and the pace, and I forgot his name. The captain Wasim Akram.
Okay.
Both of those, I think for me, like if I look at them as a pair, I think the most deadly opening pair are those two. There is no better combination.
You left out one more guy, Akwib Javed. There were three of them. Actually.
Yes. Yeah.
You know, so I was again blessed to meet Akwib Javed. He's a good friend
Nice.
of mine now. We had a good discussion. We spoke, and he taught me the art of reverse swing.
Ooh, yeah.
So I've learned something from him.
Yeah.
So I think they were arguably the best exponents of the
I think so. Yeah.
You know, so
All the myths that
yeah,
it comes
yeah.
towards the end of the innings or certain time of the day, these guys would do it ball one.
Absolutely.
You know,
the Yorkers were spot on.
Yeah.
Reverse swinging Yorkers, my God, how would
Yeah.
you say that? Toe crushers.
Yeah. Dude, if the World Cup is in, do you think the World Cup will come to the US?
Okay, the World Cup is not coming to the US, but there's something bigger, according to me, that's coming to the US.
What's that?
In 2028, the Olympics, cricket is going to be played for the first time.
Oh,
and
nice.
we are hosting it in LA.
Nice.
You know, so
Yeah.
so cricket is coming to US.
Yeah.
Cricket, US is going to be the next big thing. I can guarantee you that.
Yeah.
The next big thing of cricket is going to be US.
Yeah.
It's a matter of time before we win. The
I think so. I think where cricket is now, soccer was like 10 years ago.
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
So I think it's just putting in the hard work. I think your generation will be the ones that lay the foundation.
Hopefully.
You know, yeah. Dude, keep plugging away, man. I'm so glad. Of all the people I've spoken to in the US, we have ordinary jobs. A cricket coach in the US is kind of like what? Is that a thing
You
even?
will say it's my lifeline.
Yeah. and I have one of my best friends will be really mad if I don't say Brian Lara's name as one of the best batsmen ever.
Oh yeah. Brian Lara also was one of the best batsmen. Yeah. So true.
He'll text me and we'll have a lengthy argument if I don't mention it. But I'm sorry, Bunty. But Brian Lara, yes, dude. If you ever get to meet Jaunty Rhodes, man, that would be, for me, of all the people, like Jaunty Rhodes is my best cricketer ever. Best character. Best. I mean that. Yeah, I'll fanboy over Jaunty Rhodes all day. Like
I should be actually. I'm doing one more session with
Gary.
Gary, most probably in the next couple of months.
Yeah.
And I think that Jonty would be on that.
Dang.
Session as well. So I'll tell him.
Dude, how do I sign up for your Raleigh Cricket Academy so I can meet John T. Roddenham? Dude, so and you're a singer. Let's talk about that. Unless if you have like 10 minutes more, let's talk
sure,
about your
why not?
music. Were you in bands in
I sang.
India?
I sang in the St. Bede's choir.
Okay.
I sang in St. Patrick's Church choir.
Okay.
I think Alan De Cruz, the whole of Chennai would know him, and I think he was instrumental in teaching us singing as well. Keith Stevenson was my choir master in St. Bede's. So yeah.
Yeah. Then did you actually play in bands like or were you?
No, I don't. I didn't do bands. I like singing.
Sure.
I play the guitar for myself. I don't.
Sure.
I'm not good enough
Sure.
with the guitar to play for anyone else. But
Yeah.
singing, yeah, I do love singing a lot.
Yeah. And so, do you record as well? You said you recorded a couple of songs.
I did.
right?
I did one song for Sachin. I did another song known as Friends for Life, and I did one for my wedding anniversary. But that was a song, though not what I wrote. It was someone
Okay.
1,000 Years.
Okay.
So I did. I
Yeah,
did
yeah.
that. Yeah. It's on
Dude, send
YouTube.
me the links to your original stuff that you wrote.
Yeah, sure. Why
Send
not?
me. I'd love to check it out. I'll add it in the description.
Sure.
Dude, you're doing great work. You're doing foundational work, and you're a great coach. I think I took away a lot. One last question: have you found yourself as a father? How you father your son? How you and your coaching? Do you take things from one into the other, and it's kind of blurs, right? How do you coach, and how do you coach your son, and in at home, right? What's those lessons? Is there a bleed, or is there like a?
Actually, to be very frank, I just do what my father did with me.
Yeah.
He is like a best friend to me.
Yeah.
The only thing that is greater than cricket to me is my family. They are the most important. There's nothing that is bigger to me than my family. So family first, cricket next. And I share a very good bond with. I got a 3-year-old girl as well.
Oh, nice.
I got a 3-year-old girl, 11-year-old boy. Asher and Ziva, and my wife. So we are just 4 years, and in US how it is.
Yeah.
Every man for himself and God
Yeah.
for all. So it is kind of tough because when my wife finishes work, I'm out.
Yeah.
I come back late. Sometimes I miss the kids a lot.
Yeah.
But he is very understanding.
Yeah.
He's very understanding. He knows what's happening.
Yeah.
Whenever I get time, we sit down, we talk, we have fun. I pull his legs, he pulls mine. That's how it is. It's more about being friends, and that's how it is.
Yeah.
And to be very frank, when you talk about the boys I coach,
Yeah.
I coach them the same way I would do my son.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's very difficult for me because that's the personality I am. I just like to be that guy who just has no filter.
Yeah.
I just want to be me. That's about it.
Are there any Anglos that you met up in North Carolina?
In North Carolina, no.
Okay.
My school buddy, Cyril, he's in Texas.
Okay.
I still haven't met him.
Yeah.
But in person here since I came here, but hopefully when there are some matches going on in Texas and I move there, I would see him because we've been friends since school.
Nice.
And nothing beats that.
Yeah. Are you familiar with the Facebook group US Anglos?
Yes, I see. I joined that group lately, but the problem is I'm not. I don't come too much into groups, so I don't message too much. I just come on and off and go. That's all.
Yeah, there are some good folks. If you ever have a hankering to get together and you throw out some Anglo words, I haven't met up as well, but they meet up every year. There's a dance.
I know. Actually, I was telling my wife about it after that, and she was like, "Why didn't we go?"
Yeah, dude.
I said, where we didn't. I didn't have the time, to be frank.
Yeah.
But I would love to come over for for the dance, have
Yeah.
some fun there. It's been years since
Yes. Yes.
I've been there, but definitely this year there is one. And if we are in the US at that point in
Yeah.
time,
Yeah.
if we are not through
Yep.
touring somewhere,
Yep.
definitely we
Yeah.
will.
There are a lot of entrepreneurs in that group who are the same mindset of yours. Sheldon for one, and a lot of CEOs who sold their 7 businesses.
Good.
Right. So I think it's more than just hanging out with Anglos. All these people are just so inspiring. And
You know what?
just
I
great
would
people.
like. I would like that. If all these guys could come together,
Yeah.
and we could set up something somewhere for the next generation in India.
Yeah.
I'll be more than happy to make the time to come there, because I think we are a dying community back in India, and whatever we could do, it's not about the money part of it.
Yeah.
It's about teaching them the trade. It's
Yeah.
very important for us to do those things. So
Yeah.
we can brainstorm, see what we could do, and
Yeah.
see how we could
Yeah,
help back.
a lot of those people are super active already. There's a lot of things they do, but yes, I think taking on, for me personally, I'm trying to invest in looking at how I can help musicians.
Okay.
Right. I'm also thinking from a business perspective, how can Perambo, right? That's where I'm from. How can Perambo be a hub for something that people can just work and impact the world, right? Because I think we are in that. I sense that I'm not unique in that thought, right? You think of it as well, and it's speaking with everybody else. Some people have been doing it for a long time. Some people have that urge. So I feel like it's a good thing, and we just come together and just say like, hey, I'm thinking, oh, great, man, good. Yeah, here's some contacts. Go for it. Go do your thing. I definitely think. I sense that it's going to pick up for sure.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
Bruce, thanks for speaking, dude. I'm so glad I got to speak with you. I'm so glad I got to speak cricket, man. That's I love it. Good luck, dude. I think you have the ambition, you have the drive to be the coach for the US, dude.
Thank you so much.
I hope, and I'm pretty sure you will. Don't give me a free ticket. I'll buy a ticket and come watch a match. If I'm in the Raleigh area, I'll hit you up.
Sure, man. And thank you for having me on your show. It was a pleasure sitting and talking to you about cricket, about life itself.
Yeah.
I never thought that I would be doing a podcast, but here I am sitting with you, and I'm glad I'm here. A hi to all my friends across the world, all the Anglo Indian guys and girls in Australia, in New Zealand, in London, in India, wherever you are, because we were a very big group.
Yeah.
We were a very big group, and just we are everywhere now.
Yeah.
So thank you. I'm able to say hi to all of them now.
Even the Perambo boys, right?
All the Perambo boys, all the Perambo girls, everybody.